I hear a dog. So I'm going to actually have to turn the camera off. What's up, everybody? So I figured today I would do a little day in the life vlog. I haven't done one in a while. Basically a day in the life of a real estate investor. Sorry, I've lost my voice, so I'm going to sound a little bit weird. But first I have to drop the little one off at daycare, and then I have to go to the city to talk with them about some business and operational taxes. They gave us some penalties when they weren't supposed to. I don't know if I can take you guys in there with me, but anyway, then we're going to go house hunting and look at some houses, and I'm going to show you a little bit of what we're looking for when we're out house hunting. All right, guys, let's get the day started. Just dropped her off at daycare, and I'm sure you parents out there understand, but when they're crying when you leave, it's the absolute worst. And you feel like you're just leaving them behind, and they're like sobbing. She was screaming and like reaching for me. But eventually you just kind of have to walk away, but it's terrible. All right, so anyway, now I'm headed to the city. All right, so I just got out of a meeting with the city. That went pretty well. I just had to go in there and figure out a discrepancy that was on some paperwork. Basically, B&O tax is business and occupation tax, and some cities make you pay this just for the privilege of doing business inside of their city. So make sure you're aware of these when you're starting businesses, as you don't want this to be a surprise bill at the end of the year. It needs to be accounted for and budgeted for. But yeah, basically that's what it is, business and occupation tax. And now I'm off to go look at some houses. So I literally just pulled up to the first house that I'm going to look at today. Rihanna and Beamer are tagging along with me. Rihanna's off for fall break, so she wanted to hang out. And I'm just going to turn the camera around. I'm going to get out of my car, and I'm going to show you exactly the process I go through when looking at these houses. All right, so this is the house right here. But first of all, the first thing you want to do is check out the neighborhood. And also the drive into the neighborhood is important as well. So this is not the best neighborhood in the world. I gotta talk a little bit quiet. There's a lot of junk outside in people's yards. Some of the houses are dilapidated. Again, I'm not picking on anybody. These are just facts. This neighbor over to the left does look decent, and so does the one to the right, so that's great. Direct neighbors are very important. This goes for dogs, being out in the yard, being loud. Now look, I personally love dogs, but not all your buyers will. So if the dogs are out running around in the yard, making a lot of noise, tearing up the yard, barking at you when you walk up by the fence, that stuff might scare people away that have kids or that just don't like animals. And those are weird people if you're asking me. All right, so let's take a look at the house real quick. So now, obviously nobody's home, or it doesn't look like anybody's home. The first thing I'm going to do, and maybe I should have did this before filming, is I'm going to knock on the door to make sure nobody is home. If somebody is home, I'm going to just shut the camera off. I hear a dog, so I'm going to actually have to turn the camera off for just a second. Okay, I'm back. So there actually is a golden retriever in there. So it doesn't look like the people are home, but the dog is home. Okay, so this stuff is real right here. So they just let the dog out of the back. So that's a sign for me to walk back towards the road. And I'm just going to have to observe from the road. So the house from the road going to need some work. It's going to need some siding or paint the entire house. It will need a roof. It's going to need some landscaping. And just from what I can gather from how the backyard looks, we're going to assume that it's going to need a complete cleaning on the inside, and it's also going to be dated. You can also see that the windows are going to all need replaced. They're old windows, so that's a very big cost. And also you can see the AC in the window. That means there's usually not HVAC in the house, and if there is HVAC or central air, it's not working properly. So that's something else you have to account for. So you're going to put all this stuff in your budget, and again, the inside's going to be a crapshoot. You're just going to have to kind of guess what's going on in there, and you're going to just want to judge that off of basically what you're seeing on the outside. Keep in mind they have animals too, and some people don't take care of them and let them run through the house and kind of do what they want. So again, this is all very real. I thought they were going to walk out on me. They didn't, but that's all I can see today, guys, on this house. And we're going to go off to the next house. Alrighty, we're at the next house. It's not looking good so far. We actually know this neighborhood. We've already flipped a lot of houses in this neighborhood. That's the house right there. And this is the neighbor that's like right on top of it, which is never good. This house is up for sale as well. Not a good sign. Again, you don't really want the houses right beside it for sale unless they are updated and making your house look great. That one's for sale by owner. It's probably not on the market. They're just trying to sell it themselves and save the money versus using a realtor. So I'm going to walk you guys around this house real quick, but I want to show you this little kitty over here. Hey, are you nice? Please don't bite my hand off. Oh, you're nice. Cute kitty. King of the trash can there. All right, so again on this house, when I said this last time, it doesn't look like anybody is home, and I'm just doing all this live, guys, so I'm gonna go knock again. It's a little weird with me holding the camera, probably not super advisable, but let's just go ahead and knock. Now you see there's a lockbox on the door, and I'm going to take a few steps back. A lockbox does not mean it's with a realtor. It usually means that the bank has already been in here and kind of locked this thing up and probably winterized it. Now if somebody were to come out, obviously I'm going to drop the phone real quick, but you always want to take a few steps back after knocking. You don't want to be up on them and looking like some type of crazy person. You want to show that there's nothing in your hands, not holding any weapons. People are just scared anymore of people knocking on their doors. Now me holding the camera, again, not advisable, but I'm trying to film this for you guys. So normally I stand here, my hands are visible, and I'm just really polite when they answer the door and act very personable so they'll communicate with me. Okay, I'm going to take a step back here again, show you the whole property and kind of what I'm looking at. It looks like they started building an awning here over the deck area and never finished it. We'd probably just get rid of that, honestly. It needs a roof. It does have a really nice backyard area. It's completely fenced in, so that's always a plus, especially for people with pets. Now look at this. Now this is something I want to show you in a house, especially here where we live. So where we live in Charleston in the hills, almost everything is built on a hill. So you can see that house over there is built on a hill. This one's built on a hill. The neighbor over here has built on a little hill. So usually, almost always, they may have some structural problems. And it's something you really want to look for because it can be a huge expense. $20,000, $30,000 in some cases, even more depending on the size of the house. So I know the tall tale signs to look for, but I depend on my partner Steve, who has his contractor's license, been doing this a long time, to kind of measure with his laser and tell us if it does or doesn't. But I know to look for stair stepping, cracking, shearing, leaning, things like that, which I actually don't see on this house so far, which is surprising. It just has a lot of chip paint, which doesn't mean anything. We just need to repaint that. So again, it does have a really nice backyard. The AC unit actually looks decent and up to date. No, I wouldn't say up to date, but updated. Not brand new, but it does look good. This deck will need probably either torn down or just completely refinished. It does not look good. This house has been sitting for a long time. It's very obvious. It doesn't even have gutters on it, which is not good for the foundation once again, because that means the water drops straight down into the foundation area and causes a lot of problems. So again, while I'm on the phone with you guys, I'm not going to be seeing if anything's open or not. Now, if you guys show up to these houses and the door's wide open or a window's wide open, I can't tell you what to do, and I'm not going to comment on anything for legality purposes, but maybe you can take a little peek. All right, I'm gonna show you the neighborhood real quick. These houses are okay. That one looks to be vacant as well. Again, you don't want a bunch of vacant houses. You don't want stuff like this. Stuff like this you do not want around the house. It just does not go well for showings when people are coming to look at these houses. People care a lot about safety, and they do not like vacant houses because that's where people come and squat. All right, well, that's it on this house. Again, just like the last one, it'll need a ton of work. It's in a slightly better area, better neighborhood, but this house would also have to go for super cheap for us to be interested in it. All right, this is another one going up for auction. This would be a perfect little rental. I've already walked around it a little bit. I have to be careful filming right away. I already have a neighbor just literally standing at his door watching me. But this is a really nice little rental house, really small, be perfect for, like I said, a rental for someone to come in here, do a little makeup to it. It's got a handicap ramp. If you're going to be a rental, it's really up to you. If you're going to sell it, get rid of it. If you're going to be a rental, it's up to you. It does give you access to a different type of renter that would need this, but some people don't like it, but they're super easy to remove. And this actually looks to be an expensive all metal one and not some cheap wooden ramp somebody made. Here's a tall tale sign right here that the house is empty. Anytime these stickers are on the door, it usually means you're safe to walk up to it and kind of look around. Now you can't go in them unless they're open, but you can always take your phone and put it right up to the window like this. And as you can see, this one's in good condition. I don't know what that floor is, some type of laminate, but it's got a nice little kitchen in it, new countertops and cabinets, decent fridge and stove, and I like what they did with the ceilings here. It's that wood look. I think that looks really good. A little bit of track lighting back there. So again, it's a really small house, but it seems to be clean. And this is kind of what you want when you're buying an auction house, because you're already buying the unknown, because you can't really go inside of them. So if you can see that it's in good condition, that's a good sign. Brand new compact unit out here. So this is an AC and a heat unit all in one. That's why they call it a compact unit. This looks to be a newer one, and it's in good condition. It's a smaller lot, but it's a fenced in yard, which is always a plus. So I would just get rid of the shed. It's taking up the whole backyard. Unless you're somebody who wants that, I'd just get rid of it, open up the backyard, do a little landscaping, and look much better. You could even extend this porch out if you wanted to and get rid of this old awning, and it would look much better out here. But really, if you're going to be buying this as a rental, you don't have to do any of that to it. So I'm gonna walk around the other side real quick and see if we can see in a couple more windows here. So this door was cracked open when I arrived. I'm not going to tell you if I went in or did not go in, but this is a little laundry room right here. And here's a bedroom. And I'm just going to kind of slide this around here. I know you can't really see much. But anyway, through that door may or may not be some stairs that goes up to a finished attic area that would classify as another bedroom, because I believe it does have a closet in there, if I were guessing. Gutters falling off here, but no big deal. But yeah, this is about all you can do when you pull up to these houses, is just kind of inspect them like that. It's even better when nobody's home. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. It's even better when nobody's home, because you can walk around them freely. Now, if somebody is home, you can knock if you want to. That's up to you, but usually they're not going to let you inside. The siding's in good condition. The front porch is in good condition. You're not going to have any structural problems over here because it's sitting on a flat lot. Windows are in good condition, and the roof is a metal roof, so those last forever essentially, or a lifetime. And so yeah, this is in good condition. We do not know the bid for it yet, so that will determine whether we get it or not, but I would like to have this in my own personal portfolio if we were to get it. All right, well, that's it, guys. We looked at 3 separate houses today, and that's basically how it goes. Sometimes you can get in them and see them, especially if the bank is showing them to us. Sometimes we just have to assess them from the outside. Sometimes we have to assess them all the way from the street because the people are home and they don't want us there. And that's just kind of how it goes. And eventually you'll just develop an eye for it, on things you're looking for and things to avoid. How's the roof, the windows, the HVAC unit, all this stuff will become second nature to you when looking at these houses. And that's why I'd advise you not to buy an auction house where you cannot see inside of it as your first investment, because you just have no idea what you're getting into, and it could be $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 more in repairs than what you budgeted, and that could kill the entire deal for you. So be very careful doing that. But now what we do is sometimes we get the bids on these auction houses or these foreclosures ahead of time, and then sometimes we don't get them until we get all the way to the auction. And that's super annoying, because let's say that it's we budgeted that we could pay $30,000 for the house. So we have to go get a cashier's check, show up to the auction, and then all of a sudden the bid's $80,000 and just wasted everybody's time. And that's just sometimes how they operate, and that's unfortunate. But what we'll do is we'll assess all these properties, figure out what we would maximum bid for them, and then head to the auction house, unless we already have the bid ahead of time and it just won't work for us. Go there, bid against others if they're there, bid it up to our maximum amount, and don't go over no matter what. Don't get prideful at the auction, even if it's online. Just don't get prideful. Stick to your number. Don't just try to beat the other guy out, because it does become competitive there. And then bid up to that amount. If we win it, then we close on it in 15 to 25 days, and you must have cash to close these things out. You're not going to get a loan from a bank unless you have access to a home equity line of credit or something like that. But I hope this was interesting to you guys. I hope it was educational and kind of showed you what to look for when out house hunting. And I'll take you guys along with me on more of these if we go to look at more of them in the future, if it's something you want to see. We can look at anywhere between 0 and 30 or 40 houses in a single week, depending on how busy it is that week. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit the thumbs up button on these videos. It helps it get in front of more people. And if you love what you're seeing here, please subscribe. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one.